All right, folks, we are back, and like some big backs, we are in the building yet again, and we're moving on to topic two for the day, and that is dun dun dun. Hit me with the music. Dun dun dun. The San Francisco 49ers coach Kyle Shanahan. Kyle, what's going on, player? Why you live like that? Hmm? Are you stressed, tired, overworked? Sound like an infomercial. I grew up on 90s infomercials. I'm a fan of them and never not be. Shout out to Crazy Gideons. If you know who that is, you're dope. Anywho, let's talk about Kyle Shanahan. Now, once again, folks, I'm a man of the people, and I've literally done the work so you could do the listening. And that's all I'm gonna need you to do, because I'm gonna present my case. And I did a little bit more digging just so you can have some variation on my talking points. And you know exactly, I know that I'm actually putting in the time and effort to give you guys good, salacious takes that make sense and most importantly are fair, because that's what I am. All right. I'm gonna call this segment Fool's Gold. All right. Let's talk about Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan has been at the helm of the San Francisco 49ers after being considered an offensive savant for years, with working with Matt Schaub, working with Matt Ryan, working with RG3, working with all of these quarterbacks that had splash years. And the one time they've had splash years mostly was with Kyle Shanahan. He gets the job in 2017. He's been there for 8 years. Let's go over his record during that time, shall we? He was 6-10 in 17, 4-12 in 18, 13-3. They made that Super Bowl one in 2019. They had a dominant team. Raheem Mostert, remember that? With Jimmy G as the quarterback. They lost in the Super Bowl that year. Follow up that year with a 6-10 in 2020. You come back with a 10-7 in 2021. They make the NFC Championship game. They lose to the Rams. Remember that? That was a division game. It was very intense. That was the one Matthew Stafford game where I thought he balled his butt off and he was going to make his career well worth it. So now we move forward to 22. They go 13-4. They get hurt. Brock Purdy gets hurt and tears his UCL, his ligament in his elbow during the NFC Championship game in Philly. Philly fortunately goes to the Super Bowl and loses to my team, the Kansas City Chiefs. Shout out to Chiefs Kingdom. You know, we are getting back. We gonna get on the ball and get rolling again, boys. Don't listen to these haters. We got our mouths kicked in, curb stomp, but we gonna be back at it like some crack addicts. Don't even trip. All right, now we got 2023. They make the Super Bowl again. They go 12-5. They lose to me, the Kansas City Chiefs, the best team in the land. Yet again, it was almost like deja vu. You're going to hear that term again. That's called foreshadowing. Y'all pay attention. And then last year, we go 6-10, or 6-11, excuse me. Now, he has an 8-4 playoff record. And overall, his coaching record is 70-62. I don't know about you. That ain't too good. That's pushing 500. And that's not great. Now, I will point out he's had 16 All Pro players during his 8 year tenure there. That's an average of two per year, but let's break them down year by year so we can be more specific. We had three All Pros, first team or second team in 2019, Super Bowl. We had six All Pros in 2022. They went 13-4. NFC Championship game, they lost. Yeah, NFC Championship game they lost to the Eagles. That's when Brock Purdy tore his UCL ligament. And in 2023, they went 12-5, and that was when they made all them classic comebacks and all that other crap that I can't stomach. I don't like 49ers that all much, but they had seven all pro players, first or second team in 2023, and they made a Super Bowl. They had three all pro players last year, and they went 6-11. Now, I'm gonna ask you something. It's either boom or bust, don't you think? He's either going to make the playoffs and go to the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, or he's not making the playoffs. Now, I ask you, if you were an owner of that team, would you take those boom or bust without any full booms? He got a little boom, boom. But he didn't make it to the big game and take the whole thing home. That's the whole point that I'm sitting up in here trying to make. Kudos to you for getting to the dance, but you got to finish the dance. You can't sit up and say the girl is pretty and look at her from across the room for all this time and then never go ask for the dance. Finish the job, buddy. You got to finish the job. And Kyle has been known for getting in his own way. Some 49er fans that I know say he's too smart for his own good. Some 49er fans that I know say he's past his prime and he needs to be replaced. Some 49er fans I know love the guy. But I can almost guarantee all 49er fans question whether he's been there too long. They may not say it, they may not admit it, and they may not want to. But it's a question that they think about for sure. And I say that all of that, has he been there too long, to bring correlation to my next point. Let's talk about Mike Shanahan, shall we? I'm with it because, like I said, I did the work. You can do the listening. So we're going to do that. Mike Shanahan's overall record is 170 and 138. Look real familiar, don't it? I'm just saying, that's not much better. He's literally 22 games, excuse me, 32 games away from being 500. Now, some people say he's still 32 games clear of 500. I get that. But in the grand scheme of things, you almost have lost more than you won. You literally have. So let's go over his career. Doing research, I forgot that he was a coach of the Raiders for 2 years, right? So during those 2 years at the Raiders, he was 7-9, didn't make the playoffs, and 1-3. 88, and 89. No big deal. No harm done. He gets his second shot at coaching in 1995. He goes to Denver. Now, they have an aging John Elway, aging veterans, but they were able to eventually piece it all together and put together some nice couple runs. Let's go through it. So, we got 8-8 in Denver in 95. 13-3, they lost in the divisional round. 97-98, they went 12-4 and 14-2, and they won the Super Bowl back-to-back years. Sort of like my Kansas City Chiefs. So, they win the Super Bowl back-to-back years. Then next year, Elway retires. They go 6-10. No playoffs. 2000, 11-5, wild card. 01, 02, no playoffs. 03, 04, 05, they go wild card, AFC Championship. 06, no playoffs. 07, 08, 09, and 2011, excuse me, 07 and 08, no playoffs, right? So he finished his year on 3 straight years of no playoffs, averaging 8-8 each season, right? He goes to Washington. Okay. They go 6-10, 5-11, 10-6, and then 13-3. They make the playoffs one year, right? Kyle Shanahan had 8 Pro Bowlers during his tenures at the Denver Broncos. During those tenures, those 8 Pro Bowlers came when? The Super Bowl year. Coincident? I think not. He had 4 Pro Bowlers in 97 and 4 Pro Bowlers in 98. Pro Bowlers. I remember I gotta enunciate these words so the caption can get picked up. Otherwise, it's gonna be some funky shit. So, because he only went to the playoffs 14 times, his record was 8-6. What's Kyle's record? 8-4. His daddy was able to bring home the bacon twice. Kyle got to the dance, but he didn't bring home the bacon. But I ask you, are their careers eerily similar? Are we watching the reincarnation of Mike Shanahan Jr.? Jr.? Hmm? Is Kyle Shanahan following in the footsteps of his father, who wound up avoiding mediocrity by landing on some teams with a couple of Hall of Famers, putting it together for 2 years, and then ceremoniously ending up in a purgatory, which is the middle of the pack, a place that you don't want to be in any sports franchise whatsoever. I don't care if it's soccer, tennis, on the pitch, football, basketball, baseball, it doesn't matter. Never be in the middle. Never. I'd rather suck or be great. Don't give me the middle. The middle is average. I don't want to be average. Okay? But what we're seeing is patterns. You guys have to understand. The patterns we see, we got to pay attention to. We have to pay attention to them. Kyle has been he's been coaching 8 seasons with the 70 and 62. Extrapolate that. His dad has been coaching 14 seasons. I almost feel as though it's fair to say they probably wind up with eerily similar records if that's the case. Kyle Shanahan looks like his life has completely changed and he bit off more than you can chew in pictures like this. I find it extremely odd that people tend to give him pass after pass after pass after pass when the questions that they have about the franchise solely revolve around that gentleman. It begs me to think that you guys are gluttons for punishment. Because if that were any other franchise with that type of a allure attached to them, the 49ers were one of they're one of the staple franchises in the league. Everybody loves the 49ers. Hell, bang, bang. That's what they say. But, however, we have to really put things into perspective. Kyle Shanahan may not be the savant that you think he is. Kyle Shanahan may not be the great coach that you want to label him as. And most importantly, Kyle Shanahan may not be in the 49ers head coaching seat for very much longer. Because if mediocrity continues and they pay Brock Purdy $55 million per year like they're anticipating, I don't know how much better you're going to get. You can only make a seventh rounder a non-seventh rounder with more all pros. The reason why Purdy's about to get paid is because the players he plays with. Now, granted, he still has to make the decisions, he still has to make the throws. I get that, you guys. Don't hate on me in the comments. Matter of fact, please do so I can get my clapback on game on. It's real strong. I'm extremely petty, and I'm letting you guys know now. I don't back down from sports arguments. It is something I live for, so make sure you're ready to die on the hill because I am. That was a little Dr. Evil joke. If you know, you know. If you don't, go read a book and watch a movie. But nevertheless, Kyle Shanahan, I believe, has overstayed his welcome. I don't know what they're going to do with the quarterback. They whiffed on Trey Lance, got bailed out similarly to his father in Washington. It is eerily similar that his daddy drafted RG3 to only draft Kirk Cousins in round 4. Y'all don't find that funny? Y'all don't find that funny? Because I find it extremely odd and funny. Yeah, I find it weird that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch trade up for Trey Lance in that draft and they mortgage the future and only to draft a quarterback with the last pick, and that's the guy that they go with because the one that they picked didn't pan out the way they thought. Y'all don't find that interesting? That's not eerily similar either. Come on, you guys, read a book, look up some stats. It's fool's gold. People think that because you can add up numbers real fast, design a clever play, that means you deserve to be a head coach. That doesn't mean you deserve to be a head coach. That just means you're really good at drawing up plays. Can you handle player personnel? Can you make the correct decisions when the pressure's on? Can you call timeouts when need be? Can you help out your players? Can you motivate your players? Can you deal with problem players? Can you make of yourself the face of the franchise instead of trying to make your players work your system? Can you work with players that can't fit in your system? Are you successful if you don't have a system? Are you successful if you have a system and you don't have the players to run it? There's so many questions that I have about Kyle Shanahan and the validity of his coaching career that people are failing to ask. We have to ask the questions because we need the right answers. You guys know, just like I do, because I'm a man of the people and I listen to the streets and the streets talk. Kyle Shanahan ain't well liked in San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan ain't well liked by 49er Bang Bang Gang. He possibly could have cost you guys 2 Super Bowls. Thank you. And most importantly, he may be costing you guys your future because mediocrity is a place I refuse to be. And if that's what you're okay with, maybe you shouldn't be coaching. I'm just saying. Cold piece work. How about?